Welcome to Mental Health Breakthroughs for Young Adults and Families. I'm your host, Carey Conley. This podcast is dedicated to helping young adults navigate through the challenges and learning curves that they're experiencing in every area of life. My personal episodes will be dedicated to helping you with getting clarity, direction, moving through adversity, and living with purpose and hope. I will also be bringing you amazing guests to discuss topics such as finances, career choices, relationships, grief, addiction, positive mindset, mental health, and more. I am on a mission to help you live a life that you love and have the confidence to go after your dreams.
Hi, everyone. This is Carey Conley. Thank you for listening to this episode of Mental Health Breakthroughs. I get the honor of interviewing some young adults as a part of my mission here. I have a very big heart for working with them, as you all know, specifically around the areas of starting their life and mental health and how they're feeling and just kind of give them some tips and some encouragement. And so I have some brave souls who willingly come on here to talk about their life, how they're feeling, what they're doing, and see if I can help them in any way. And Aiden and I just met literally like a week ago. And I just am so fascinated with this young woman. So Aiden, thank you so much for coming on here.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so great meeting you, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, you are really on the cusp of some really exciting stuff, being that you are graduating from college and starting a life. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I graduate in 19 days as of today. So I'm really excited about that. It's been a long time coming. Freshman year was actually fully online. So I've only had 3 real years of college, but it's been long all the same, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, I wondered about that. We didn't talk about that if you were in school when COVID happened and all of that.
I was. Senior year was 2020, so I didn't get a prom, but I did get a graduation, thankfully. I know a lot of my friends weren't lucky enough to have a real graduation, so I was definitely lucky in that aspect, but prom was a little bit of a stab, but
yeah.
Nevertheless.
Well, that's too bad. So tell me about what's happening for you now. Once you graduate, what are some of your plans?
Once I graduate, I want to start getting ahead in putting out more music. I was in the studio a couple months ago just getting some tracks started, but my producer actually just had a baby. So I will go back once he and his wife are all settled in, but I definitely want to plan on putting out new music this year, hopefully an EP next year, then an album in the future.
So I know you have a big dream of wanting to be a singer and a songwriter, right? And you have some other things that you are also working on. What are some of those things?
I'm looking into digital marketing, actually, because I've always had an interest in that. I took some fashion marketing classes in high school, and it's always been an interest of mine. So I'm really looking into that aspect right now, specifically social media marketing as well, since that's kind of what I'm doing with my TikTok recently, partnering with brands and promoting their products.
Right. Yeah. When we were together last week, this is kind of funny because I'm going to turn 62. And Aiden was trying to teach me a little bit about TikTok and not doing TikTok very well. Aiden, right? I'm going to need a lot more tutorials from you, I think.
It's a long process. There's so many new things now. It just keeps evolving. So we're all to adapt.
Yes. Girl, it took me 2 years to get used to Instagram, which is why I haven't stepped over into TikTok. But, with this emphasis now that I have on wanting to help young adults, I have a feeling that I'm going to have to go there. So you might have to help me.
Of course, I would love to.
Yeah. So one of the things that I asked Aiden to do, you guys, before coming on with me today was to kind of think about her life as if it was 3 years from now, which I do with a lot of people. And the reason I do that is because most people don't think about that. Like, 3 years, how old you're going to be, what do you want your life to be looking like? And so, Aiden, when I asked you to think about that, what are some of the things that you thought about?
3 years from now, I'm going to be 25, since I'm 22 right now. For me, that is nearing 30. So I want to be set in my career. I know I'm looking at different outlets and different options right now, but I definitely want to be more set where I am and definitely more confident in what I'm doing. So taking the steps to explore these other outlets within these next few years and hopefully finding something that really works and speaks to me.
Right. So when you say the word set, Aiden, what does that mean to you?
Set, like I'm concrete in my plans. I know what I'm doing. There's no hesitation. There's no any insecurities in the air. Just knowing where I'm going and how I want to do that.
Yeah. Do you see yourself living still in California?
Definitely. I would love to stay here. Of course, it's very costly, but I am willing to do as much as I can to stay here. I love the beach way too much to leave.
Ditto. Yes, I would love to be living where you're living. I'm, close. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is, I can jump on over there anytime, but I've always loved the beach. I've said since I was 14 years old that I was going to live there. So good for you for doing that and making that choice. So financially some numbers that so here's one of the things that I do, Aiden. When I get people to think 3 years out, I get them to start defining to me what their lifestyle would look like. And I did this for myself when I was in my late 20s, right? So I wrote a lot about where I wanted to be living, neighborhood, size of the house, really clearly defining it, and where we were traveling to, because my husband and I love to travel.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I wanted to be working from home because we were going to start a family soon. So because of that lifestyle picture, and I was able to start thinking, okay, financially then, how much money do I need to be making to support that? And so you're at a place now of thinking, okay, if this is what concrete looks like to me in 3 years, getting an idea of where you want to live, how much is that going to cost, where's the money going to come from, it's going to help you figure out your career path a little bit better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it'll help you, if that's 3 years out, it's going to help you start figuring out a game plan starting now. What are some things I can do now to start moving in that direction? Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Is this something that you think a lot of your friends who are the same age think about at all?
I think right now, a lot of people, especially my friends, we're all graduating this month. So I think a lot of us are starting to take into account what that really means and how we're going to translate that to post-graduation life and how we're going to make things work. So for me, I am working a server job right now. I've been at the same place for over a year, but I love the people and the money is decent enough right now. Tips aren't bad. So I've been saving a lot of that money up to help me post-graduation and find a new place to live. So that's what I've been doing. And also my TikTok content creation has been helping a little bit with that too. I made a small income off of that. So I'm going to put that in the savings as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's time. I think, it's when I was 22 and I was coming out of college and I was a whole different picture, right? I dated my high school sweetheart, went through college together, got married right after college, and we were starting our lives. And there was a lot of thoughts around money. So I'm sure that finances is kind of a big topic of discussion for you guys too, right?
Yeah.
Probably is it stressful? Do you guys feel a lot of stress and a lot of pressure?
Definitely. Money has always been something I've worried about just for myself because I do want to be as independent as I can. And that's why I do work so much so that I pay my rent and all my bills by myself. I don't want to continuously depend on my mom for that. So I've been making strides in that, paying my rent for the past 2 years. So I definitely want to keep being as independent as I can.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's a big deal. I knew it was a big deal for me and my husband when we were 22 and starting out. And I commend you on that, because I don't know that everybody in your generation thinks the same way. I think there can be a lot of leaning still on your parents, right? So it's good that you are thinking that way, because you need to.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So big goal is to become a famous singer and songwriter, right?
Yes. Number one
Yes.
goal, for sure.
Number one goal. So what do you see could be some of the biggest obstacles around that happening?
I think my biggest obstacle is probably myself right now. I do get insecure. I do see things online that make me insecure about myself and my abilities. Just the whole, I mean, even when people comment on you, there's that perception aspect of what people are going to think of you and what your friends are going to think of you and whoever else, what they're going to think of you. So a lot of that is me trying to get over what other people think of me and get over my insecurities and just do it,
Yeah.
Well,
I think that is a very big problem in your generation, but honestly, I think everybody has that problem, especially because of social media, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been around for almost 62 years, and I get on there and still go, okay, I feel like it's almost like FOMO, like there's something I'm not doing that other people are doing.
Exactly. It's the comparison aspect of it, I think.
Yes.
Because I see all these people younger than me. There's like Tate McRae. She's super huge singer right now, and she's 20 or 21. I don't know. I think she's 20, but she's on her world tour, sold out shows, amazing singer, amazing songwriter, everything. And I'm like, what did I do wrong? I should be doing right now. But it's also an opportunity to just look at what they're doing, take it into account, and see how I can do that myself and grow myself to get to that point.
Exactly. And, I'm so glad we're talking about this, Aiden, because I think it is a huge problem, especially for mental health in young adults and kids. This comparison thing can just eat you up and stall you out. But I think the healthy thing you just said was saying, you know what I need to do is change my perspective on how I look at her. And look at her as inspiration for you. If she can do it, you can do it. One thing that I've always done when I see somebody who's at a place where I want to be, Aiden, is if I can, start building a relationship with them, right? Start asking questions, commenting on what they're doing, and seeing if we can get to a place where you might actually be able to have a conversation with somebody that's at that place to ask them, what can you tell me? What advice can you give me that's going to take me from where I am now to where you are? What are some baby steps? And you know what? I think you saw this last week at the event that we met at, Aiden, that uber successful people love to help other people.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? There's not one person in that room that I met there that when I told them, hey, I'm launching a new initiative for young adults, will you help me? Said, I don't have time for that. They all said, how can I help you? Have you ever thought about maybe even just starting to build a relationship with some of these people?
I have some friends in my circle I have a friend who was on a major Netflix show. She had a guest starring role for like a season or two. So I've been reaching out to her and hanging out with her, trying to find out where to get started, really. So we've been talking about agents and things in that realm, in the acting world, that I can look into and get myself started there.
You know what I'm going to tell you, Aiden, is success is 10% what you know and 90% who you know.
Totally.
I mean, it's the truth. So just get yourself around all these people, start getting to know them, build relationships with them, let them know what you are, what your vision is, what your aspirations are, because they willingly will help you get some steps, introduce you to the next person you need to know. But I think the big thing here, the message is, don't be afraid to ask.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, because I think we get so intimidated that we think, oh, they're too busy. Who am I to ask? Truly ask.
Even as a younger person, it feels hard to ask questions, especially to older, more successful, wiser people. We feel kind of meek and like intimidated to be able to ask those questions.
Sure. But we're not afraid to ask our parents, right?
Right.
And all of these people, most of them are also parents and would love to help a young adult, just like they hope somebody will help their kids as well. So I just have learned that, man, they are just the nicest, most helpful people on the planet. And I just learned to ask a lot. It's going to accelerate your process. So the biggest piece of advice I could give you right now, Aiden, is just when you're talking about, I'm hoping this happens, I'm trying for this, right? Is I like to get people to think 3 years out and then reverse engineer some sort of like a game plan of goals with a timeline, right? Like I think you shared with me that you want to have an album come out.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have a date on when that's going to come out?
May or summer of 2026.
Okay. All right. So just put a real date on it.
Yeah.
Right. Just envision that you're going to have this great big launch. All these people are going to come celebrate you, get a really big picture of that day being it's out. People are loving it. And you have just gone through the roof. So if it's 2 years from now, what is it that you can be doing by this time next year?
Mm-hmm.
And if where you're at this time next year, what do you need to do over the next 90 days, 6 months to keep moving in that direction? Baby steps, little bit every day.
Right. Just break it down.
Yeah. And I love that you were very honest in saying when I asked, where do you think you're going to get stuck? And you said, it's going to be me. Because guess what? It always is.
Yeah.
For all of us. And I'm glad that you are identifying that, because a lot of people, when I ask them, where are you getting stuck? They'll use outside circumstances,
Mm-hmm.
right? My family life isn't great. I hate my job. I don't have the money. It's usually never the outside stuff. It's always what's going on up here.
Right.
Best thing you can do is keep working on that.
Yeah, I think being self great quality for everyone to have, for sure. I like to keep myself in check, and hopefully other people notice that as well.
Yeah. Well, you're very mature for your age, and I have no doubt that you're going to do really, really well. I just want to encourage you to take this vision and write it out, get it on paper. Once you get the vision written, as if it's 3 years from now, Aiden, start backtracking a little bit and start putting some little action steps in place with dates on them. And most importantly, surround yourself with people who believe in your vision and are going to help you keep moving forward, even on the days that you don't want to.
Yeah, I get that.
And I want to be one of those people.
You already are. I'm so happy that I get to hear this from you.
Anything else that you want to share with us, or any other advice that we want to talk about before I let you get back to your life?
Recently, I've just been getting caught up in conflicts with friends and other people. And it's kind of been messing with me a little bit. I don't know how else to explain it, but I feel like I'm kind of in a rut right now. And I do go to therapy, so that's always an option. But how do I get out of this rut and stay on my path?
A rut meaning with your relationships?
Yes.
Like friendships or dating?
Mostly friendships.
Okay. I'm so glad you're bringing this up, because this is a big topic I hear a lot from people your age, is that there's somewhat of like a disturbance in the force happening between the relationships that you already have existing, and how you either make those better or get out of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Power of association is everything, like we've touched on already. So Aiden, I really want to encourage you, my friend, that if you have anybody in your life right now that does not make you feel like you can conquer the world when you are with them. I call this the 9s and 10s people, right? These are the people that when you're around them, they lift you up, they believe in you, they encourage you, they want to talk everything out with you, and there's no drama. I am a drama-free girl. Always have been, always will. Taught my daughter, don't even bring the drama home.
Yeah.
Right? it goes nowhere, and it's such a waste of time and energy.
Agreed.
If you don't have those 9s and 10s, I would encourage you to kind of just quietly start slipping away from the relationships you have now. It doesn't need to be a big dramatic thing. Just kind of let it go and start putting yourself into some new places like we were at last week.
Mhm.
All these amazing people, right? There's so many networking groups out there that have people like that in it. And I would encourage you to start getting some new people in your front row, right? Easier said than done, I know.
It's also the time,
But it's-
because my roommates and I will be moving out of our apartment soon. We're all graduating, so these friendships will be drifting apart naturally.
And this is a good time to let things drift, because you are gonna all go in kind of different directions. Right. And again, all perspective. Some people look at that as a hard thing. I look at it as hey, this is a chance for me to meet some new amazing people. So I congratulate you on also recognizing that, because that's not easy to do too.
Thank you.
Aiden, I am so grateful for you to be on here with me, and I am going to be one of your biggest fans, and I hope that you will not be afraid to ask me or anybody else for help.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear that, and
right?
I can't wait to see what else we do together.
Yeah. Well, I shared this a little bit with you, and I'm going to share this with the audience now, that I'm launching a community this month for young adults called Vision is Victory Academy. And there's more information after we drop this episode. Please listen for more. And I'm very, very excited about it. And I hope I'll see you in there with a bunch of other young adults.
Yes, I'd love that.
All right. Thanks so much. I appreciate you being here. Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode today. And be sure to listen to this message after we hang up here.
Design the life you've always dreamed of with Viva, Vision is Victory Academy. Join us and discover how to transform your vision into victory. Whether you're seeking clarity, resilience, or a path to personal growth, Viva is here to guide you every step of the way. Don't wait for life to happen to you. Make it happen with Viva. Sign up today at visionisvictoryacademy.com and take the first steps towards a life of purpose and passion. Your future self will thank you.